Okay, so be honest. Have you ever said to yourself, I'll start again on Monday? Because I have. I spent years restarting the same goals, fitness, routines, discipline, and I always had the same results. Nothing happened. And it wasn't because I was lazy, it was because the systems I was using was broken. Today I am so excited because I'm going to be showing you the actual formula that helped me go from restarting goals every single Monday, every month, every year, to staying consistent and being productive. Before we jump in, I think it's important for us to reiterate why this can happen. Now, the reason why we find ourselves restarting routines over and over again is because they are too intense. We set these big goals that require us to transform overnight, and that's not possible. Consistency, discipline, productivity, these are skills that are built over time. So the second we slip up, we panic, we feel guilty, and then we just hit the reset button. So the issue isn't starting over, the issue is the broken system that we are using over and over again and expecting a different result. So I propose we do things differently this time, which is the formula I'm going to be teaching you today. So grab your notebook, grab a cup of tea. I don't have a cup of tea today. I was in a rush and I just wanted to get sat down. I'm sticking to my own systems, and part of that was, even though I was in a rush and I was doing lots of other things, I am trying to stick to my posting schedule. So that meant that I had to sit down no matter what and film this video. So no cup of tea for me, but I hope that you'll have a cup of tea and your notebook, and you're going to listen very carefully to the steps that are going to help you to become a more consistent version of you. And with that being said, let's head to the whiteboard. I like to call this the 7-day SMART reset. So we are resetting our routines over 7 days. We'll get into why that's important later on, but we're just going to be focusing on the SMART part. This is an acronym, so we're going to go into what each letter stands for and then discuss it in more detail. So SMART. S stands for specific. M stands for measurable. A for achievable. R is realistic. And finally, T is time-bound. It's so specific. Now, to be specific means that we are clearly defining our goal. So the goal needs to be clearly defined, but it also needs to be simple for it to work. Because if the goal is too complicated or too big, or if it's too vague, then you won't do it. Most people will say things like, I need to work out, I want to get fit, I'm going to start going to the gym, but none of that is actually specific. None of that actually tells your brain what to do. So instead of saying vague statements like that, what we can do instead is state a goal that looks something like this. And I'm going to be sticking to workouts as I go through the formula. So a specific goal would look something like this. After I wake, I will do 3 minutes of movement in my living room. Now, do you see how clear that is? It tells you what you're going to do, which is movement. We've mentioned when we're going to do it, which is when we wake. And finally, we've said where we're going to do it. Now your brain understands what that goal looks like, and then you're more likely to actually do it. So it has to be simple enough that you can't talk yourself out of it. Really, what I'm saying is the goal needs to be so simple that it's almost embarrassing. Because think about it, the version of you at the moment who is restarting goals over and over again, you're setting complicated goals. Set a goal that feels almost embarrassing and see how it works. You want a goal that is so specific and simple that it feels like a guaranteed win. So to tie all of that in, specific plus simple is going to give you consistency. And you can always build on from a simple goal. If you maintain consistency doing 10 squats, then you can build on and do 15 squats. If you were running for 3 minutes, you can build on and do 5 minutes. So rather than just setting a huge goal that you know you can't stick to, start small and then build on from there. So M, of course, stands for measurable. And I think this is where most people start going wrong because they try to measure results. We don't want to measure results. We want to measure effort. When I say results, I'm talking about things like weight, calories, duration, progress photos. As I said, I'm going to be focusing on a goal where you're trying to build on your fitness, you're trying to work out more often. What does that actually mean and how might you do it? So, for example, you need to be creating one measurable checkpoint. So what does that look like? So it could be, for example, a tick box. It could be a simple done on a whiteboard. It could be a reminder that you check off. Or it could be a paper calendar with crosses. So let's say, for example, if your specific goal is after tea, I will do 10 squats. The measurable part would be, did I do my squats today? Yes or no? And hopefully the answer to that would be yes. Not, did I sweat enough? Was it a proper workout? Did I burn calories? We're going to be measuring effort, not outcome. So the next word is achievable. And I would say that this is the heart of the system. If you don't get this part right, then the whole thing will fail. Now you need to ask yourself this question: could I still do this goal on my worst day? And when I say worst day, days where you are tired, where you're busy, maybe you're feeling moody, maybe you're on your period, or maybe you have low energy. If the answer to this is no, then that means the goal is unachievable. You can't achieve it, and you need to make it simpler. So you need to go back to S, so specific, and then you need to rethink what the goal is. If you can't do 20 squats when you're feeling tired, then you need to maybe do 15 squats instead, or 10 squats. So you need to make sure that you can achieve this goal on your worst days. So an achievable workout goal would be something like 3 minutes of movement. It could be more, it could be less, and it just depends on how you feel and what works for you. If the achievable goal feels tiny, you can actually build on that, and then that builds that consistency. So we need to make it so tiny, so achievable, that even on your worst days, you can still do it. We want the goal to become part of our identity. And in order for it to become part of our identity, you need to first make it achievable, build momentum so that it becomes something that you just do. You will just become somebody who works out. Naturally, that's just part of who you are. It's not something that you feel motivated to do on some days. Even on your worst days, it's just part of what you do. But a realistic goal is one that is also very honest. And you have to be honest with yourself when you're setting a goal. You need to acknowledge that some days you might be tired. Some days you might get busy. Sometimes you might have low energy. And some days life might just get in the way. A common mistake that people will make is thinking that if I can't complete this goal in full, so for example, if it's a workout, if I can't complete this workout in full, then there's no point at all. But it's that mindset that actually destroys the consistency. A realistic goal will always have a plan B, and that will be a smaller version, a low energy version, but it still counts. So your plan A might be 3 minutes of movement, but plan B could be a 30-second stretch. Plan A could be 10 squats after tea, but plan B could be simply doing 3 squats. I'll do one more example. Plan A could be 5-minute walk. Plan B could be just a walk to the end of the block. All in all, and I think what we need to understand from having a plan A and a plan B is that the plan B is not a failure. The plan B maintains consistency. Okay, so the next one is we are going to make sure that our goal is time bound. In this case, time bound means that this reset, we are going to lock in for 7 days only. And the reason is because your brain can commit to a short window without feeling overwhelmed. It's going to create urgency. It's going to remove pressure. We're eliminating the guilt because we're going to stick to it for those 7 days. It's such a short amount of time that you're not going to fail at it. And also we're building momentum. Now, the reason why it works is because by 7, you are not going to want to stop. You're going to start feeling better. You'll have the evidence that you can be consistent. And then once you have that evidence that you can be consistent, then you're not going to want to stop. You will continue for another 7 days and another 7 days, and then eventually it will just become something that you do naturally. So we're going to start with 7-day windows and then build on from there. So to put all of this together into one smart workout goal, we could say the following. For the next 7 days, after tea, I will do 10 squats. If not, so if it's a low energy day or a busy day, then I will go to plan B, which will be 3 squats, and I will tick that off daily. How it all ties in. My goal is specific, and that's because we have said when we're going to do it, where we're going to do it, and what we're going to do. It's measurable because I am going to be measuring my effort every single day by ticking it off on a tracker. It's achievable because it is tiny and doable. It's realistic because we have a plan B, and also it's time bound. We've said we're going to do it over 7 days. Now, I'm going to be leaving a link to a downloadable Smart Reset template, which you can download, and then you can use that to help get you started. Let me know how you all get on in the comment section. I hope you have enjoyed this video. So if you found this video helpful, I would appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified of more videos from me. And join the conversation. Let me know which parts of the formula you're going to be implementing, if not all of it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.